It's time to meet Command Monkey, TweetMonkey's older brother. The goal for the Command Monkey project is to allow me to say Monkey Dance into my Microsoft Band and cause the monkey to animate. The band relays the Cortana command to an app on the phone, written in JavaScript by the way, which calls a web service, which pushes a WebSocket message down to the monkey telling him to animate. I created Command Monkey for a training course on Microsoft's voice assistant, Cortana. But as you can see, the Cortana voice command and the phone app are doing an extremely simple HTTP GET command up to a service. So you could substitute most any device or service you want into there. In fact, you can even use curl from the command line to issue that HTTP GET and cause to happen what you want to happen. The .service project you see here is actually a Node.js project hosted in Azure. The push part of this then is between the .service project and the .device project, which is Command Monkey. Now the code for this project is really short. I'm going to show you the code for the service as well as for the monkey himself. I want to point out that this entire project from the phone to the cloud to the device is written in JavaScript, and I think that's really cool because I like writing JavaScript. By the way, you can find out all about this project by visiting codefoster.com/commandmonkey. This is it. This is the entirety of the code on the server for Command Monkey. All this code has to do is let the monkey call in and register a listener, and let the commanding app, which like I said could be anything even though it's Cortana on the phone in this case, call in to relay a command. Let's break it down. First, we require Express and instantiate an Express app in one statement. Then we require Socket.io, and we tell Socket.io that it should listen to that Express app. Then we create a simple variable to hold the socket that's going to be our listener. In this case, the monkey is going to be the listener. This variable is necessary because the server needs to know who to send commands to, and this is where we remember that. Next, we define a route for an HTTP GET request that's using the API/command route. In the handler for this, we check to see if we have a listener by doing the if target socket. If there is one, we relay the command. Initiating a message with WebSockets is as easy as calling the emit method on a socket. Here we're issuing a command message, quote-unquote command. That's the name that we decided to call it. And we're passing along a query string parameter. The command is not a keyword here. You can use whatever you decide on as socket message names. I'm just choosing to use command in this case because we're commanding the monkey to animate. Next, we determine what happens when a socket client connects. In this case, there's only one socket client, the monkey. When the monkey connects, we want to define the setTarget socket message that the monkey will be able to call on the server. When he does, we'll simply store that socket for, like we say in the last step, when the API command route is triggered. And finally, we tell the Express app to listen on the port that Node gave it. That's the server code. Now let's take a look at the device. The client's job is to simply wait for commands to come in the form of a socket message, and when they do, to turn the monkey on for 2 seconds, just like in the TweetMonkey demo. The first thing to do here is bring in Cylon and the client module for Socket.io, called socket.io-client. That's different than socket.io, the server component. This is the client component. At the same time, we require the client library we can connect to the server via its public URL. In this case, I had the server deployed to Azure, so my URL was commandmonkey.azurewebsites.net. Notice that I don't need to specify a port. It will assume the default 80. The next chunk of code is your typical Cylon code. But if we drill into the work function, you'll see that we're doing simply 2 things here. First, we're emitting a message to the server, telling it that we're the listener, that is, we're the socket connection that's interested in receiving commands. Remember that triggers our server to store our socket so that commands can be sent to it. Then we define the handler for any socket messages that are received with the name command. In that handler, we tell the monkey to animate for 2 seconds, and that does it. We have effectively used WebSockets to create for ourselves a simple push model.